Hold on. This is all bad. I dropped my
You didn't drop the liquid soap, did you? So,
no.
Hey, all right. So David, so we are currently live. We are on YTNTT. We're gonna be streaming on both social media platforms right now. For anybody that's tuning in right now, we are not gonna be doing any court cases. We're gonna be on a live call with David. Hey, what's up, Simona? How's it going? Hey, what up, Nana 69772? Welcome, everybody. We're live on the line with David. He's located in Centinela State Prison, which is in the state of California, bordering Mexico, in the right next to San Diego, in the Valle Imperial, or the Imperial Valley, if you will, for those of you that are familiar with that area. How are you doing today, David?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Man. I mean, I'm locked up. As you know, for those of you that do not know me, my name is David Isaac Lopez. I'm currently incarcerated at Centinela, like James said, and I'm a lifer for, in all the way that I was sentenced. So I don't know if you guys know what a lifer is. I was sentenced to 40 years up to life in prison. So basically what they're telling me by that sentence is they can hold me for the rest of my life because of the crimes that I committed. So that's a real sobering thing to know, You could die in prison. They don't have to ever let me go home. What do you
when you think about that, possibly passing away in prison, how do you feel about it? Do you think about it constantly?
I don't think about it constantly, but
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Well, I've seen people dying here, so I know what it looks like, And so when I think of doing life in prison, I think like, well, damn, is that how I'm gonna go? Is that gonna be my end? Am I gonna end up just getting wheeled out of here one day on a stretcher? I guess that's the scary part of the whole thing. You never know, how it's gonna look.
And the different under what circumstances have people lost their life? Was it over violence, natural causes, neglecting, getting neglected by the administration or the staff?
Well, it's kind of all of the above, And the thing is, look, I don't want to say, well, it's the staff's fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's not fair. I feel like that's not a fair thing to say, because look, there's a lot of people in prison. There's almost 90,000 people incarcerated in California. So people are dropping like flies, and what do we expect them to do? You can't stop everything. It's hard to put to say, oh well, because I used to look at it like this. I was kind of like, well, it's their fault. They should have known. They seen there was tension on the yard. But now, if they know something's going on, they'll literally call you to the program office and they'll be like, look, this is what we hear, and all we got to go on is this information. Do you feel safe on this yard? And there's a lot of us that go into that meeting, it's like we go into it like feeling some type of way, like, fools be talking, fools don't be minding their own business, and and we go in there looking at like, well, we don't need nobody to save us, but when we got 3 hitters on the yard chasing us around with weapons, whose fault is that? And it puts the officers in an uncomfortable situation also that I've seen, because, they have a decision to make. They have to make the decision up there all by themselves. Most of them are up in them towers, and they have live ammunition. They have to make a decision. Hey, I think it's time to kill the hitter. I think it's time to use a real gun, a real weapon, a real caliber, which is they have mini 14s up there, and those are you got to shoot to kill. So that's a hard decision to make, and a lot of times they get stuck. They're humans. So that's how me, I guess, maturing growing up, you know, I'm thinking, well, I have to look at things from all angles, you know. A guy decides to shoot something up in his cell in the middle of the night. Everybody waits, you know, in here most of the time to get high after the officers have already walked. There's some idiots that do that, but how can you say, well, it's the officer's fault because this dude OD'd in the cell? I'm sure there was a breakdown somewhere why the drugs actually made it in the first place. But if they're waiting for the officer to walk so they can shoot up their fentanyl or whatever the hell else they do, you know, that they die from, it's kind of their fault, right? You know, it's an ugly, you know, it's an ugly thing. Heart attacks. I know a guy that, you know, he had a major heart attack in the middle of the night, and to the officer's credit, like they sensed his snoring pattern was off. This dude was a big guy. He snored, and when the officer walked by, he did a couple counts. He noticed, he's like, hey, something ain't right. And this was at 1 o'clock in the morning. They walked by with a flashlight. So they walked by, they heard, well, they didn't hear anything. So they're like, that's where this guy's usually snoring. So they had enough sense to kind of beat on the door. And that's what woke me up, because I heard them yelling the guy's last name. I think it was like Guillermo or something like that. And they're yelling, Guillermo, move. I need to see you move. And they got the flashlight on them. They're yelling, and here comes the alarm. They activated the personal alarm. Midnight, the officers run in. And they're doing that without even knowing what's going on. It's just something ain't right. And, you know, he was a couple doors down, so they pulled him out. And that's what he was a lifer. He finished his term from that point on. That's how life in prison ends. They did their best to try to bring him back, but he had a major heart attack past the point of no return. You know, and that's curtains.
Yeah,
I do think about that.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
From my understanding, if once your brain doesn't have oxygen for 30 minutes, your brain pretty much dies. So yeah, so there's a small window for them to be able to, you know, resuscitate you. If they don't, then I see it as curtains. It's game over. You're done. Yeah.
Yep, it's game over. And, you know, he wasn't a bad guy. He didn't do anything other than eat himself to death, you know. I know it sounds kind of messed up, but, you know, he loved eating. We talked to him about it a lot. He had his little cooker in the cell, you know, where he fried everything, and he did what he did, you know. He blew up. He stopped going to yard a lot, and that's how he met his end. That's how life in prison ended for him. And so it's a sad thing to think about, you know, that, hey, this could be me, you know. For those of you out there that don't know, okay, so I'm celled up with somebody who's like a brother to me. He's out of school right now. He'll be back later on. But that's my boy right there. And he's stubborn. Like Jesse is super stubborn. I'm the same way. If I'm in pain, I'll suffer in silence. Like, I don't want to, even if I'm hurting, like, that's one of the stupid things we do, is we don't express our emotions very well. Both of us grew up in the system. You know, I've been in for 15 years right now. Jesse's been in for 24 years. But I came in as a kid when I was, 15 years old? You know, I came to prison at 18 years old on my first term, which was 25 years ago. So we have a lot of time in the system, both of us. And we were always taught, the first lesson is don't ever let anybody see you in pain. So, Jesse, do you remember, James, when he had kidney stones?
Yeah.
So, this fool doesn't wake me up at all in the middle of the night, this fool, because I'm on the top bunk.
Mm.
So I come down to use the restroom at like freaking 3 o'clock in the morning, right? And he's curled up in a little ball on the floor, right? And he's in extreme. Hey, this fool's on the floor in extreme pain, right? And I get down, and I'm like, I step over him because I gotta use the restroom. You know, I see he's breathing, and he's like, I mean, not to laugh. He's all right now. This fool, like, you you don't want to wake up in the middle of the night and see your celly writhing in pain on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's rocking back and forth, and I'm like, I'm sitting there, right, and I'm using the restroom, and I'm like looking at him, right, because we live in our restroom, so we got a toilet right here by the bunk, and I'm thinking like, this ain't good,
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesse, you all right? He's like, I got kidney stones. This is the only place I can get comfortable. and then I'm like, old dramatic ass Jesse, you know what I mean? Like, really in pain on the ground, And I'm like, are you gonna be all right? You need me to call man down? He's just like, oh no, don't, I'll be all right. Just like, all right. So I hop back up on the bunk. I'm worried about my boy. Like, but I have to respect it. Like, my boy. Like, if my boy, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I could sit there on the ground with them. I could be like, hey Jess, but no, I don't know. I gotta. My boy's a G. So I gotta sit there and I gotta kind of just like, well.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
So I fall back asleep, right?
Yeah.
I fall back asleep, and Jesse freaking in the morning I get up and that fool's still on the ground, right? hey, I can laugh about it now because I was a little worried. Hey, I'm gonna call you back right now. I gotta finish this story.
Okay, all right, for sure. All right, guys. Hey, so I know you guys have questions for me as far as how come I haven't been streaming, how come I haven't been on in the mornings. I do plan to get back on. I just been preoccupied with other commitments that I've had going on with my life. I haven't forgotten about you guys. As you can tell, that's why I'm here on these phone calls. I haven't forgotten about these fellas either. I got commitments to them also. So, and I'm gonna be off for the next few days. So I'll try to make it. Damn. Hey, Adam B. Thank you, man. Thank you. Highly appreciate that, man. I wasn't even expecting that, but thank you. Highly appreciate that. For the book of James, gracias.
Esta es Global Talent. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
Oh, 5. Where's 5 at? Here we go. 5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Talent.
Hello.
James, yeah. So, finally in the morning, right? This fool's been like this all night, I mean, I went back to sleep. I got up, a little bit, checked on him. He was alive, and anyway, so he reminds me of probably one of them kids, like when he fell and tripped and cut his knee, and the mom came up and was like, or somebody like a big brother, someone's like, hey, Jess, you all right? He just like punched him away,
Yeah.
that was probably Jesse when he was a kid, what I mean? Just kind of just threw his bottom lip out, powdered a little bit and just went about his business, And so, anyway, this fool, so in the morning I get up, right, and I'm like, Jess, you all right, fool? And he's like, I don't know what it is. I think it's kidney stones, right? And so I'm like, you got to go man down. He's like, I'm not going man down. I don't give a shit. We have that mentality. Man down is when you're in pain in the cell, like you're really freaking, even on the yard, like if you feel like you're going to die, like you're man down or something's wrong, you need help right away, you got to literally yell out your door, man down. And it's almost like a cadence. As soon as one person yells man down, the whole freaking building will start yelling man down. No one even knows what's going on, who it is, and you'll hear 100 people yelling man down just all over. And the cops will come out, and they'll just be like, what cell? Where's it at? And everybody will be like, I don't know, we're just yelling. But somebody will yell a cell number out, and they'll come up, they'll run up, and they'll hit the alarm, and that's how that goes. So, Jesse, that's embarrassing as hell. So that's like if something happens and you call, somebody gets hurt in your house and you call freaking for help and you got a fire truck out front, something like that, It's like, man, this wasn't that serious, but you got the whole freaking, police departments out front. Well, anyway, that's how we feel. They come, bring an ambulance on the yard and take you away. So anyway, in the morning, I asked Jesse, and I'm like, Jess, you all right, fool? You want me to call man down? This fool was in so much pain, James.
Mm-hmm.
He freaking vomited like a cartoon character. like all crazy, right? And I was like, oh, that's not good. Like, I never seen no one do that, for no kidney stones, This fool throws up like cartoon shit, like Family Guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, what the hell? So, he will not go man down. He won't do it. So anyway, we talk him into going man down on the yard. Did you know that, James?
No.
Did he tell you about that? So we finally take him to medical. They won't see him, and they want him to go man down. Like, the only way we're going to see you and take you as an emergency is if you, like, basically drop on the yard.
Yeah.
And Jesse's like, I won't do it. So now there's a crowd of us around him. There's me, Felipe, all the fucking, the whole cast.
Yeah.
Silas. Everybody's around Jesse. And we're trying to convince him to go man down. So he freaking, all stubborn, in super pain, sits on the curb in front of medical. That's as far as we can get him to go down. Sits on the curb, and they come out. Are you man down? He's just like, shut up, man. Just, yeah, man down. We need you to say it, man down. He's like, I'm man down,
Yeah.
Here comes the fucking ambulance to take Jesse away, Pulls right on the yard. Hey, this fool... James, this kidney stone was so small, right, that he didn't even feel it pass. I'm not saying that, I'm glad that my boy went like that, but whatever the hell this little thing was that was cruising through his freaking kidney or whatever the hell, wherever it came from, right, was so excruciating, but at least it had like a happier ending, that foot didn't fall out all crazy passing it, and, so anyway, one of these days, James, if I don't get out of prison, some crazy shit's going to happen, and that's going to be that. That's life in prison. That's how it ends. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Should think about that.
So right now, we just had somebody asking us what was happening. So pretty much David was just recounting a story where his celly, his childhood friend, Jesse, was passing some kidney stones, and the only way that the medical staff would see him is if he would say that he was man down. So that's pretty much meaning that you can't like walk, or there's something extremely wrong with you. So that's the only way they were willing to give him any medical attention. So did they end up operating him, or
they'll give him medical? No, that's what I'm saying. Like they'll give him medical. They give you medical attention. Like, so I don't want to say that. Oh well, they don't.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. They don't have much in here. They got medical staff, they got nurses and stuff. Like, they do their job, they'll, if you go to the window, but think about it, out of all the hundreds of people that are on this yard, how many people are hypochondriacs and they bullshit, and it's kind of hard to tell now. They're there trying to get some pain pills, or they're trying to do this and that, or they're trying to freaking, who knows, it happens so much, it's been happening for freaking forever. So they have to make sure that if they're spending all that money on you, you better be sick.
Yeah.
You better be man down, you know what I'm saying? Like, you better be something like, you can put in a medical slip, but that's for emergencies. Like, you can put in a medical slip and they'll pull you out in like a day or two, but when you're in a lot of pain. So the person that just tuned in, James asked a question about, the mentality of somebody doing life in prison, because by my sentencing, I'm considered a lifer. I'm sentenced to, I could be sentenced to die in prison. That's my term. So I'm talking about it like my social circle is mostly lifers in here, guys who are sentenced to life without parole. Some of them are condemned, like death row guys. And like there's guys like me where I have life with the possibility of parole. So I'm in better shape than a lot of guys, even though I'm sentenced to 40 years, which means that I'm not allowed to go to board until I've been in prison for 40 years. But things have changed now with the laws, which means that I have an opportunity to go to prison, opportunity to go to board in about 6 years, and I've been in for 15. So they want me to do 20s like their mark. They want you to do at least 2 decades, and I have to be 50 years old. So I'm going to be 44 years old pretty soon.
Wow, man,
Yeah,
that's a
the
long
catch on
time.
that.
That's a nice little stretch.
It's a long time, James.
Yeah, it is. It's like a
You know?
lifetime.
Yep. I tell people, it's like, man, if I get out and I'm like 70, I'm gonna be a weird ass old man, James. To be honest with you. I'm gonna be a.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I'm probably gonna be one of them old dudes roller skating on the Venice boardwalk. It's 70. You know what I'm saying? Like super with them 4-wheel roller skates. Just doing my thing, you know what I mean?
Man.
Disco dancing. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta, you know.
So with that whole with that whole situation, so they assess him to make sure like that he was actually in pain, and then is there like a doctor or a nurse that makes that call? Because obviously, like you mentioned earlier on, that they're not equipped to handle those type of situations, so they would have to refer him over to an outside facility, right? To a regular hospital.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. They got to send him out. So what they did is they sent Jesse to the outside hospital and they did an X-ray, and they said that, I forgot what size it was, but it seemed pretty bad. Like when he came back, he's like, it's like so many centimeters or something. They could detect it moving through his side, and I guess that's what the pain was, is whatever the hell that thing is, that little rock or something that goes to your side.
Mm-hmm. They
detect it. But in here, like if you get assaulted really bad, they'll send you out in an ambulance, for sure. Like they'll do that. They'll send you out. Like money's not the issue as far as responding, like it's, but they want to make sure that they're not just spending money on people and for no reason. Hypochondriacs and, people chasing highs out there. Some people just want to go for a ride. To be honest with you. We walk around like a prison yard is like a fishbowl. We swim around in the same fishbowl nonstop for decades. That's all we do. We walk around in circles, and people want to go and take a ride. So they'll go take a dive.
Yeah, no, I can imagine because
you get like the standard, and then plus, you get a lot of the guys that are on drugs too, and they go down. There are drugs in prison, so dudes will do it. A lot of dudes are falling out of that synthetic stuff. What the hell they're doing with that, but I like to think that when I was using, I was a classy drug addict, but I know I wasn't. But I don't know what this new stuff is that these guys are all doing, but it's messing them up, man, pretty bad.
Hey, I got a question
dudes are freaking.
I got a question for you from one of our listeners, Adam B, and he's asking, "Hey James, would David be up for a pen pal from Canada?"
Yeah, you guys can hit me up, absolutely. But it's better just to hit me up on the tablet if you can. But if you write letters, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
that's cool, Adam.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
What David's speaking about is there is an application. It's called GTL Getting Out app, and what it enables you to do is reach out to these gentlemen via that app. And right now, David, he's calling us on a tablet. On that tablet, he has an application on there where he receives messages, and he's also able to make calls. So if you reach out to him through that app, it'll probably make everything easier. To send messages, it costs 5 cents a minute. Sorry, not 5 cents a minute, 5 cents a message. And that's pretty cheap, compared to other states. I hear other states it's 25 cents per message or 50 cents per message. So it's a lot cheaper in California than a lot of other states. So you do have that option of mailing a letter out, but I think it's about like $1.70 to mail something from outside the from the United States to outside the United States. So I think it'll be a cheaper option just to use that app. And I do have his information on the screen. So if you do want to reach out to him, then just download the GTL Getting Out app. You could either download it via the Android App Store or the Google the Android Play Store or the iOS App Store. So hopefully that makes everything.
Yeah, it's cool. Yep. Yeah, I think pretty easy. You just go onto the account, set up an account for yourself, and then you just put in my info right there. They'll say add somebody, my CDC number. I'm at Centinela State Prison, and that's it. Put yourself as a contact. Yeah, you can get whatever. I met some pretty good people via this podcast. People that have been excellent in support and stuff. And one thing that I do is, what I don't do is I don't glorify prison, and I don't glorify crime. Like, I just don't do it. I spent my entire youth just chasing shadows, man, just doing stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing, and that resulted in the loss of somebody's life, and unfortunately, I have to live with that every day. That's why I got so much time. And I think that my ultimate goal for coming on here is to, one, I guess it gives me a voice, out into the world, because once somebody's...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Once somebody's serving a life sentence, in a lot of ways, we don't exist in your world anymore. So what I love, I love interacting with people from all over the world and stuff like that on this channel. And two, I don't want anybody to walk down the same road that I did. If my message can save somebody from ending up the way that I did, even if it's one person, man, every conversation, every hour we spent on here was 100% worth it. One youth, one family member of someone that's struggling here, if we can give advice, to help their loved one take responsibility for the reasons they came to prison and go home one day, because once you give up hope, that's when it's over.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
If you have a loved one that's incarcerated right now, no matter where you're at in the country, with life sentence, and they do have options. It's not over. You can get your life on track. You can still become a good person. You don't have to be defined by your worst mistake. And one of these days, maybe you can get a commutation, you can get a pardon. There's things that can happen. Laws will change, and you could go home. But it all starts with your behavior in here and accepting, hey, that I don't want to die in prison, man, and I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get out of here the right way.
For sure.
James, I'll give you a call back.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be waiting.
All right.
All right. So for anybody that wants to watch what's up, Brandon? How you been? For anybody that does want to watch some of these court hearings, I'll try to get on at about 8:00, and we'll do some Maricopa hearings, and then I'll try to get on tomorrow. Maybe I have some free time. Hey, what's up, Jesse Aguilar? How you been, man? Highly appreciate that. I'm good. Hey, I can't complain. I'm a bit under the weather right now, and I'm taking these Ricolas, and they're fixing me up. So, James, do you? Yeah, I do, Sue. I have something. Let me pick up that call. Yeah, I've been coughing.
Esta es Global Telling.
This call is now being recorded.
Llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tel-Link.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What else you got, James?
You know what? I've been thinking about something. So, I know when I originally started speaking to you guys, that yard where you were at was designated as a SNY yard. And I know this year, at the beginning of this year, it was switched from a SNY yard to a non-designated yard. I wanted to know, is there any differences between the way that a SNY yard operates to a non-designated yard? Are they offering different programs? The type of the individuals that are coming onto these yards, do they have a different type of mindset? Do they want to be there, or were they forced there? Comparing them, what's the difference between the both of them?
Those are good questions. So, yes. Now, SNY.
Yeah.
A policy for SNY was basically to send people that were in here for kind of bad charges, at first. There was guys that came in here for like sex stuff and things like that, and so they were sending them to, which was protective custody. Well, gangs, I guess I want to say gangs were around, and especially in California. Gangs have been around for, 50 years, probably more. They've been around for a long time. The 30s, the Zoot Suit gangsters and stuff like that. Well, in the 90s with the gangster rap and stuff like that, so gangs exploded. Like, it was just crazy in California. Like, all of us kids, we all wanted to join gangs, and not all of us, but there was a lot of kids, man, that were in impoverished neighborhoods that all wanted to join gangs. So the prison system exploded in gang membership, crime went up. It was just crazy. So when that happened, prison's a dangerous place. It's not like it is out on the streets. When you come into prison, the people that you grow up fighting, enemies of yours, you guys are all in here together, and everybody's divided by region. Like, you have guys from Northern California, Southern California, Central California. It's racially divided. Blacks, Asians, which are others, Native Americans, Mexicans, people from Central California. A lot of them run other. You got a lot of MS dudes and stuff like that. So anyway, there's so many different factions in prison, and overseeing all these were, organized crime figures, gang leaders, notorious prison gang freaking members and organizations were running everything. So a lot of us, when we were younger, including myself, Jesse, Marcelli, we looked up to those guys. Those were our big homies. Those were the dudes that we wanted to follow in their footsteps. Unfortunately, we got pretty far involved, Jesse and I. And that's not to say we're unique, but we definitely rose above the standard street stuff, and we got into more of the crazy stuff. So there's a lot of guys that were like us. When we fell out of favor with the gang, no matter how many things you can do for the benefit of the gang, your notoriety.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Most of the time, you're only judged for your mistake. And when you're involved with things at that level, your last mistake is going to cost you your life. So CDCR, they started sending hardcore gang members into SMY. It was called a sensitive needs yard, which means that you can't safely be housed around the organized crime figures or around people that are loyal to them. But you're not here for an unfavorable charge, but that's the only place you can go. So they started sending hardcore ex-gang members into SNY yards. Well, what people started noticing was SNY was wide open. It wasn't, everything's about money on the other side. Money, power. Well, when you start filtering into these yards with guys that they're not like you, they're a bunch of weirdos, to be honest with you. So what people started doing was coming into these yards, dropping out of the gangs, and it was happening at such a high rate, new prison gangs were created. So there was an explosion again within the California prison system of SNY prison gangs. And the same things were happening: extortion, people were losing their lives, assaults, drug running. I mean, you name it, it was happening here. So CDCR realized, okay, well, so many people were coming into SNY that most of the prisons in California actually flipped into SNY programs. So there's only, I mean, I want to say, how high do you think the population is, James? What do you think, 70%?
Man, I say at this point, I'll probably say maybe like 85%. I know there's not that many GP level 4 yards anymore, and then I know the level 1s and level 2s and the camps. Those are they're all either SNY or integrated. So yeah, that's
yeah.
The people that are on those yards, they're the last of the Mohicans.
Yeah. So think about it. You know, there's about 90,000, maybe under 90,000 now people incarcerated in California, 85% of the people, 85% of that population came into SMY yards and set up shop, and it just became crazy. I mean, you can Google the violence in the California prison system and the people that are losing their lives. It exploded. So what CDCR came to the conclusion of, they said, look, SMY is a failed policy. It's a failed program. What these gangbangers did is we brought them out of the control of the organized crime prison gangs, and we let them just run around these yards like a chicken without a head. So they said, look, we need to change this. We've broken up the gangs' stronghold, the classic gangs. I don't name names on here, so it's not like I don't know their names or anything like that, but I'm just, to each their own. But they pulled a lot of the people out of those gangs over here, and since it was a failed policy, they said, we're going to create NDPF yards, non-designated program facility yards. What they're saying was, we don't care what your gang affiliation was, we don't care what it is now, what it was then, whether you got a hit out on your life, or whether you're here for a charge that would be like a weirdo charge. And we're going to put you on these NDPF yards, and you guys are all going to program together. Because citizens out there in society, they don't carry the label of GP, SMY. Everybody's just out there doing what they're doing. So if we're preparing you to go home, then we have to start lifting these labels. And the crazy part, James, is I agree with that. I don't agree with the way that they implemented the policy, but I think the logic is sound. How are we going to prepare 90,000 people for society if they're consumed by prison ideology? So I'm on one of few NDPF level 3 yards. The lower yards, the lower levels, there's 4 levels in prison. Level 1's with short timers, level 2 short timers, level 3 and 4 generally lifers, serious crimes. So I'm on a level 3 NDPF, and it just changed probably a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. This yard became NDPF. So they're bringing busloads of people, James, and the guys who want to stay are basically victimized by the guys who don't. That's how it's been happening.
So, have you seen anybody that got off that bus that came from a main line that actually agreed to stay there, or the majority of them just? You have?
I have.
Have you had any conversations with them, asking them? Go ahead, David.
No.
Nah.
And no, I haven't. And the thing is what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just keep a low profile. That's kind of hard for me to do because I'm just, full of charisma. I got the Riz. But I see them here. What they're doing here is they're pushing them into 4 block. So building 4 is an intake building. Anybody who gets here from another prison will go to 4 block first. It doesn't matter if they're GP, if they claim that they have safety concerns. It doesn't matter. They're all going into 4 block, and breakfast, they come in at night and they release everybody to breakfast out of that building, and whoever's not going to stay just fucking basically just goes at it with the guys who cheer,
Yeah.
So yesterday there was a cool little 5-on-5. It happens. There's probably 2 riots a week right now.
And
it's just, but there are many.
What's the what are the conversations like on the yard with when things like that happen? Do people worry that they're gonna be at the wrong place at the wrong time, or is it set up where you guys know when the bus is gonna come, so you guys avoid that area or the movement, just so you guys are not involved?
All of the above. So we have had conversations. The guys who are gang involved that are here, yeah, We've talked to each other. What is going on? Why is my door open? You see my door open? Huh? Oh, crap. Okay. Man, I forgot I had to go to the Grow program right now.
The who?
That was my door open right now. Okay, so I'm involved with the program here.
Yeah.
That works with at-risk youth.
Mm.
And so it's kind of like, you know how they had the Scared Straight program?
Yeah.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
James?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, Scared Straight.
You've heard of the Scared Straight program?
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, so I'm involved in the program. It's called Grow. It's not Scared Straight though, not this one. So what we do is we take a different approach when we deal with at-risk youth, and they come in, they do tours of the prison. We talk about our life, and it's something brand new. I'm one of the original founding members of Grow, and so is Jesse. So we've been on a lockdown all day today for training. They do like institutional training, and I completely forgot that I have to go to the Grow program right now.
Okay. Right now,
so I think I'm gonna have to cut this one short, James.
That'll work. You know, I know you got some prior commitments, but if not, then if you guys are available, maybe later on in the evening, then we could have you and Jesse, you know, call in. If not, then I think I'm available on Saturday, so we could reschedule for Saturday.
Well, if you want, I could call in at 7:30.
Okay.
Well, I can call. I'll be back in the building at 7.
Yeah.
So I'll only be gone for about an hour.
Okay.
And if it's all right with you, I'll just give you a call back then.
Yeah, that'll work. And let me ask you, I got one question from Adam B, and he wants to know, ask what a Templar is.
I'm coming. Hey, I completely forgot. I'm with James. I'll be out in like 5 minutes. Okay, go ahead. Say that again.
Adam B wants to know what a Templar is. TEMP.
A Templar?
Yeah.
What, it sounds like a Knight Templar, huh? I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't got Templars here. That's probably one of those down south southern Louisiana prisons.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I know is from the movies, the Knight Templar. Yeah,
right.
I'm not sure.
All right.
Yeah. So, and I apologize to everybody out there in the world, but guess what? I will be back.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
For sure.
So we're going to have to cut this call right now, and I will give you a call back, James. All
okay.
right?
All right, cool. Well, we'll be checking you out shortly then, all right?
Yep. Be there. Be looking. Yep, I will be back in about an hour, guys.
All right.
See you guys then.
All right, cool.
All right,
Thank you.
James.
All right, have a good one.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Yep.
Bye.
All right. You too. Later.
All right, guys. So with that being said, I am Collect Call James. You are watching You Have a Collect Call From. And like I say around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it lights out. And with that, we are out. But don't go anywhere. I'm about to go. I think we have court right now. So let me get the court going on right now. And let me turn on the screen.
Your date of birth?